All right, so for this spread, we're going to learn about one of my favorites. It's called the Gypsy spread. So the Gypsy spread is a 21 card pull that's kind of intimidating to a lot of people, but it's very simple because it is just 3 cards for each statement. And so you read it like miniature 3-card readings. And it just tells you a lot about where you are, what's influencing you, and all that happy stuff. But then it also is about your near future and your far future, which I think is invaluable for a lot of people who are starting a divination journey. So each section tells a different story about what's going on in your life and what you can expect or what is influencing you. And then, like I said, there's a near future and far future part of the reading. So the first 3 are the self and what is awakening. The next 3 are environment and relationships, hopes, fears, and wishes, what I expect, so like literally what you expect to happen based on the question asked, and destiny and hidden influences, what is going to influence you from the shadow? How is the world going to interact with whatever it is that you're trying to get a reading about? And then we have the near future, so 1 to 3 months, and then the far future, 4 to 6 months. And then I always read with the signifier card, so I'll go over that as I get into the reading. So let's get started with it. All right, for the first 3, we have the self and what is awakening. And all I asked the cards was, what in general do people need to know right now? Just so that way it can be an easy translation, but it's not going to be too much to really hone in on a question, so we can get a nice general reading. So the self and what is awakening within the collective. We have the 9 of Wands, the 7 of Swords, and the Fool. So the self and what is awakening, I would translate this as you have come to the end of a battle and now everything's done, your wounds have been treated, and you're just waiting for the final push, the final closure, they are signing the peace treaty kind of situation. And then the 7 of Swords is, a lot of people see this as the lol, I got your swords, but what it actually translates to is mental, because it's the swords. It is taking from one space, area, energy, and using that information to further yourself in a different endeavor. A lot of people see this card when they're moving from one job to another, taking proprietary knowledge that they learned from another job to go to a different job. That's kind of the energy of this card. And then the Fool. The Fool is like, today is the first day of the rest of your life. Anything you do or say influences the next steps that you go through. It's a brand new beginning, fresh slate, blank canvas. So for the self and what is awakening, I would say you've had a heck of a battle. Things have been a lot. Now it's time to take what you've learned and apply it to something brand new for yourself. Now we'll go to environment and relationships. And the way that I would read these is to encourage people to think, because environment and relationships don't seem like they are connected, but actually the environment is just the state of energy you live in. It can be your home, it can be your work, depending on the question asked. So it's the actual space that you exist in, and your relationships are the people or others that you interact with in that space. So if it's at home, it's you and your family. If you live alone, it's you and your animals. If you don't have animals, it's you and yourself. If it's you at work, it's you and your coworkers. If it's, you in a specific group, it's you and that community. So here we have the 7 of Cups, Page of Swords, and the Queen of Cups. And the way I would translate this, based on our just getting a general reading of the future, is that you've got a lot of options That's what the Seven of Cups is. Like, you have a lot of ideas, you have a lot of emotional pulls, but you're not quite sure which one is right for you. And in choosing, there's a lot that can be confusing. So all of the different cups have different things in them. So that just means that, like, there's a lot of choices and each one is drastically different, and it's literally the card of confusion. Page of Swords. Page of Swords is a new mental thought process that you are ready to put into or implement into your life. So that, because again, swords are mental, cups are emotional, and I didn't really go over it, but up here we have wands, which wands are action. Wands are fire. So there's a new idea coming in. It's larger than life. Like, look at how big this guy is in comparison to the terrain and the trees, and his head's up in the sky, and he's just big. So this is a nice big idea that you're ready to implement in. Additionally, court cards can be somebody else coming into your life who can influence you. And since this is in the environment and relationships, I would think that it could just be other people that are influencing or coming into your life. So somebody with brand new brash ideas that are ready to help you usher yourself into a new way of thinking. And the Queen of Cups is a woman who is emotionally stable, makes decisions based on emotions. She has her feet in the water, meaning that she's always connected to her emotional space. And she holds the cup that we see in the Ace of Cups, where it has stopped flowing the water and now the water flows through her, is how I've always translated that. So in an environment and relationships, I would say this is probably very relationship based. If the individual was sitting across from me, I'd say this has a lot to do with your relationships, not necessarily the environment. But there's probably a lot of confusion of who you should listen to and who you should follow. So whoever shows up with big ideas and emotional security or emotional balance are the people who are going to help you make the correct choice. Especially when you go up to the self, when you read them in connection, of where you're starting something new and you don't necessarily know who to follow. So now we'll go down to hopes, fears, and wishes. Now, hopes, fears, and wishes are what you hope will happen, how you want things to show up, what you wish would happen, or what you're afraid might happen. So it can be a lot of things. It's on you as the interpreter to decide how these are showing up. So here we have the Five of Pentacles, the Five of Swords, and the King of Pentacles. So in this hopes, fears, and wishes, I would say this is a fear that you're going to be impoverished, that you're not going to have enough. The Five of Pentacles is the big charity. It's the big loss. Because it's pentacles, it's financial. It's something tangible. It's something in your abundance sphere. So it can be security. It can be money. It can be food. It can be anything that you need to survive, resources. Five of Swords. Five of Swords is mental, it's a mental battle that has been won, but at what cost? So here we have this man with 3 swords, and there's 2 swords at the moment. He definitely won whatever competition he was in with those other 2 individuals who are walking away. But there's these clouds on the horizon that are telling you that things, while they look like, boy, oh boy, that looks like a good thing, like I won, this might not have been for the right reasons. And this is, again, all playing out in the head. This is how you're thinking. And then we have the King of Pentacles. So the King of Pentacles is a king who is sound and confident in his environment. He has worked to have abundance and affluence that cannot be taken from him. So the King of Pentacles is, again, could be a potential person in your life that you're hoping will come, or it can signify you. Even if you identify as feminine, the masculine energy in yourself can identify with that. And that can go for any court card as well. But normally the court card represents somebody else or you evolving into somebody new. So therefore somebody else, but it's you. So in hopes, fears, and wishes, I would say that this is a fear that you're not going to have enough, that these new choices that you're going into aren't going to bring you the security that you're hoping for. And you're really concerned that, especially connected to this card of like you're taking something for your own proprietary use, that what if I'm doing it in the wrong way? What if this wasn't correct? But of course, there's the hope and the wish that this is going to be the outcome. So that is the emotional space that is surrounding that. Next, we're going to do what I expect. And this one can be tricky because what you expect might feel like it's going to come from here, your hopes, fears, and wishes. But what you expect is the truth. What you expect to happen can come across as either the ego or the soul. Again, that's on the reader to understand which direction it's going. So for this, we have the Eight of Pentacles, the Knight of Swords, and the Ace of Wands. The Eight of Pentacles is the mastery card. This card represents just repetitiously doing something over and over until you are an expert. Mastery. You are building mastery. Actually, if you look at the card though, and that's general interpretation, but when I look at the card, I see it as this gentleman has already made all of these pentacles. He's finishing this last one, and all of them are identical for the most part. They all translate to be the same. That is mastery. So it can be seen as apprenticeship or mastery. And that's influenced by the other cards. The Knight of Swords, again, another person. This is a court card. So this could be somebody else coming in, and they're just mentally ready to go because, or again, swords are the mind. So they're mentally ready to go. This is something that they're like just ready to embark upon without fear. They've already had the Page of Swords, which is the card before this, where we've had this great big new idea, and now you're ready to implement this, and you're ready to charge in. And sometimes it'll work out perfectly, and sometimes it won't. But that comes through learning lessons and evolving, which is those butterflies on the horse of just, transformations happening. And it's not always clean cut and easy. Sometimes we feel like we're taking a step back, but just know that knowledge will take you, and you always learn more when you fail. And this gentleman would know that. So those two cards work together quite well. And then we have the Ace of Wands, which is the burgeoning of a new idea, a new way of doing things. Ties really well in with the Fool about how we've had this conversation of how you're moving through something. And now this is just, it just is. This is a new idea that we're going to do. So when I read this of how someone would expect this to go, you've done your work of learning from others, and now you're ready to put that into mastery for yourself. You've got this, someone's coming in with you, and now it's time to bring this new idea to fruition. This could also spark a partnership. And then the Ace of Wands is, this is just a great new idea, and it's worth going for. And it's time to implement it into action, because again, wands are fire. Wands are action. So it's time to do it. Stop thinking about it so much and just do it. Go on that new adventure and just start. So now we're going to go to Destiny and Hidden Influences. These are my favorite cards because they are the universe giving you gifts that you just might come out of left field. The Uranian energy with surprises that come through with this. And sometimes it's gifts from ancestry, heritage. If you work with deities, this is their gifts that they give you. Or if you are just working really hard on your soul mastery, it can be how your soul expresses itself. So this is a really fun little trio of cards, in my opinion. So we have the King of Swords, the Emperor, and the Queen of Pentacles. So since this is hidden influences and destiny, right? So hidden influences, there may be somebody who's coming through, since there's court cards, multiple people coming through to help you, with like to surprise help you along the way. And this is very community based. And since this is for a reading for the collective, this is not surprising. But the person who would be sitting across the table from me, I'd say, you've got a heck of a support group going here. So the King of Swords, just like the King of Pentacles, he is a king who has worked hard to gain his kingdom. His kingdom is that of the mind because of the swords. So when you look, again, swords larger than life every time. Look how tiny the birds are in comparison to this amazing throne. And he stands in utter surety. His head is above the clouds. He sees with clear sight. So this is someone who's very, very intelligent, very wise, and is not afraid to contemplate and make the best decisions. And sometimes the thought process can be a little slow, just because they're working through all of the different places that something may go. Then we have the Emperor. The Emperor is a major arcana, just like the Fool is. These are the only two major arcana so far. So these are soul lessons. These are things that you can't escape. Even if you decide to put your head in the ground and ignore it, this will come back around because it is part of your soul's journey. So the Emperor is all about like Saturnian energy of boundaries, rules. In the story of the Fool, when the Fool comes to the Emperor, he explains the boundaries of how the Fool is meant to like work within the world. So that way he knows exactly how he can use all of his tools for the collective, for the best and highest good. A good emperor is someone who sees the best, sees the talents, sees what that person is like capable of and what their gifts are, and gives them the opportunity to use them for the best and highest good of all. So that's the Emperor card. And then we have the Queen of Pentacles here, yet another court card. Just like the Queen of Cups, the cups are emotion and intuition. The Queen of Pentacles, just like the King of Pentacles, she is a woman who is strong and sound in her financial security and her material wealths. Like, look at all that beautiful nature around her. She sits in a throne with a pentacle on her lap, meaning she's holding it like a mother would. So this is a motherhood card or a fertility card. So you could see it like that, of just the birthing of a new energy, a new resource, a new material. It could even be the birth of a new child. There are many cards in the deck that can indicate a birth, so this is just one of them. But the other thing too that I get a lot with this is it's a woman who is balanced. A woman who could work a job and have a homestead and keeps it all in flow naturally. This is someone who's very in control of her environment, and she creates abundance through that balance. So how I would read this, since this is hidden destinies or hidden influences and destinies, I would say that there's a man and a woman who are coming in to help you to learn how you are best meant to use this new idea in action, so that it is for the best and highest good, not only for the collective, but for yourself as well. Now we'll get into the future space. Looking ahead, how will this work? If you play all of this out from this moment on, what will the next 3 months look like? Now, sometimes the way the cards will fall, it can be read as a sentence like we've been doing here, or it can literally be the months. So I'm recording this very early February, so it could be, because it is so early in February, March, and April, or it could be March, April, May, if each card is indicating a month. And the only way that I ever read it like that is if astrologically something is happening and it is tied to the astrology of that card. If that comes up, we'll address it. If not, it'll be for a different video. Or it can just be a sentence of how those 3 months are going to play out. So let's see what it says. I'm laughing because this card right here has been showing up for everybody. So I guess I'm going to get to stand on my soapbox for a hot minute. So So based on astrology, as I was just saying, that card carries some weight. So let's get started with these. So the Page of Pentacles and the Page of Wands. Again, another person or yourself coming in. Like, so much community in this. And again, it's the collective, so I love this. But the Page of Pentacles is a new financial opportunity. It is, if we had the Ace of Pentacles, is a new idea of how to bring abundance and wealth into your life in the material world. The Page of Pentacles is taking that and has gone through the whole Pentacles journey to be like, all right, I've learned all the lessons of how this is going to go. Now it's time to implement this. So it could be you or somebody else is coming in with this idea of how to actually gain the wealth with this new action through the Fool, your new idea. And the Page of Wands is, again, if we have the Ace of Wands here, so we can see the full journey. So from the Ace of Wands, we have traveled the entire way through the Wands suit. And now at the Page of Wands, this individual is ready to take this gift and embark on this new journey with all of the confidence that comes with understanding what this is. So either you or somebody else is coming in to help you financially, put this new idea into existence, as well as put it into implementation. So these two together are very wonderful to see. It's just the movement of idea and finance coming in. Because sometimes, let's say if we didn't have the Page of Pentacles and we just had the Page of Wands here, it's just a new beginning, but it's not showing that there will be a lot to show for it yet. As far as what we as humans expect to see for finance. So the abundance and material wealth with that movement together, that's very auspicious and wonderful to see. And then we have, sorry, I keep laughing, the Six of Cups. So the Six of Cups represents childhood, innocence, reunion, usually with distant family or family that you've been disconnected from, inner child healing. But in the collective right now, this card shows up as nostalgia. We are very aware of how crazy things are, and things have been crazy for a long time. And they just keep ramping up and ramping up. And with Pluto and Aquarius, so this is Pluto and Aquarius. There are obviously there's two cards to this because there's two sides to the coin. There's what Pluto does, which Pluto just destroys. But to the thing we're meant to grab onto that's above the steamroller that is Pluto and pull ourselves up to protect ourselves as he destroys what no longer serves is nostalgia. I have been experiencing this for over a year, where almost everyone I run into talks about, boy, oh boy, don't you miss 1993. So the Pluto in Aquarius is getting, it's putting under the microscope all of these things that are controlling us now, that were once, gifts and helpful ways for us to connect. We'll use social media as the primary. Well, Pluto in Aquarius is going to be taking social media and turning it on its head and showing you the dirty underbelly. So my wisdom to people has been, if you did not or could not, if you weren't alive then, have done it in 1993, maybe you should think about it. Engage and try to decide what level of engagement you want to have with this system, because it's going to be going underneath the crushing weight of Pluto. And we all know about data mining. We all know about algorithms. We all know about how it's used to fill us with anger and hatred and doom scrolling, right? So what if you didn't have that? Nostalgia card. If you couldn't do it in 1993, should you be doing it, and why? What level of engagement do you want to have? And I guarantee everyone that I have coached has said, once I started living like this, even just a little bit, their time, energy, and resources came back to them. So that is what that card is. And since it's in the first 3 months, I know that it is definitely tied to Saturn moving into Aries to conjunct Neptune. And it has to do with us as, just moving through Pluto in Aquarius plus Earth going into Aquarius. There's a whole nice math problem that goes into this simple card. But just know that this is like the elephant's foot. The elephant's footprint that covers as much as possible. The more you do this, the easier life gets. Okay, so that's meant to be implemented early stages. And next we'll get into the far future. For the far future cards, this is 4 to 6 months out. So May, June, July, we'll say. And this is done in 2026. So here we have the Ace of Cups, the Three of Wands, and the Queen of Swords. Wow, look at all those court cards. I can't stop talking about it. That's just amazing. So in the next 6 months, this is the energy that will be showing up. So the Ace of Cups, like we had just discussed with the Queen of Cups, the Ace of Cups is a new emotional way of doing things. It is connected to spirituality, it is connecting to your soul. It is a new love. It is a new love, usually with the self, because the Two of Cups is your relationship or new love with another. So this is a burgeoning of a new way of love, an opportunity for love. Wow, doesn't that just sound so good right now? So the Ace of Cups is just giving you a gift of how to love and share and connect to your spirit in a new way. Then we have the Three of Wands. So again, like we said, there's this Wands journey that we're on. The Three of Wands is you're ready to embark. You've set the plan. So you had this great idea, then the two of Wands not represented is making a plan, is building the spreadsheet. It's coming up with a business plan. It's coming up with the documentation or just literally step-by-steps of how you're going to do it. And now the Three of Wands is all right, it's time to do it. But if you look at this, he's kind of standing on a cliff, and down there, I know it looks like just sand, but that's an ocean with little boats in it. And it's the mountain range and then the yellow sky. So he's going to have to take a jump. He's going to have to take a leap of faith. Look at the Fool. He's ready to just walk right off the edge of that, and everything's going to work out just fine. So same energy here of just keep going. Take that leap of faith, even though it's scary. If your brain's telling you no, then that's usually information that you should, because the brain holds us back from, through fear. And when we get those big yeses, then that is actually the spirit telling us, let's go. So it just learns, again, connecting to the intuition and trusting when it's time to jump. And then we have the Queen of Swords. So the King of Swords here, remember, and we have the Queen of Swords. Again, just larger than life. Their heads are above the clouds. They can see clearly. And this is in the feminine aspects of your life. So, and she is a no-nonsense queen, okay? When I see her, I'm like, there are no toilet jokes. You do not make raunchy, jokes or comments around her. She is very strict and to the point, and let's just do this because this is the right thing to do. So when you have these three for the, far future, I would say once you've touched in on this, whatever that is giving you, whatever this is giving you, just trust it. Trust that intuition, trust that new love, trust that reconnect or that new connect if you've from an era before 1993 or before the internet kind of thing, right? So just go ahead. Whatever that new love that comes up, it could be, like I said, a new love reborn of something you did before. And it's time to take a leap with it. Just go for it. Trust in all of this and just go for it. And when anyone tries to tell you no, don't listen to them. And this could be inside you, or this could be someone coming into your life to help you. And when you start trying to go off the rails of oh no, but this doesn't make any sense. How am I ever going to survive or do any of this? You know, like, this seems so silly. It could be you or somebody else going, no, now is the time. Just do it. So the final thing we're going to look at is the signifier card. So the signifier card is the card that shows up on the very bottom of the deck. And when I'm shuffling for like a reading, I'll like kind of just take a peek at it before I put the cards down to get an idea of where the querent or the person across from me or even myself is coming to with this. So we have the Ten of Swords. Now this card is intense. And what it means is literally just let it die. And like, you can't do this anymore. This person can't get up. There are 10 swords in their back. And this is it. This is betrayal. This is all being stabbed in the back and left to die on the edge of the river. So again, I'm not going to get too like deep into the nitty gritty of like, wow, things have been crazy for a long time, but there have been a lot of parasitic energies that have been just stabbing us in the back for easily since, like, we really see it since 2018, but honestly, longer than that. We're talking since like 2000s. There's been a lot of stuff stabbing us in the back. It's time to reclaim your sovereignty and move into this new energy. So that is the Gypsy spread. I hope this was helpful. I really had a good time doing it, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.